Hello everyone, and welcome back to Turkish series Stars. We're thrilled you're here, because today we're unpacking a love story that so many of you have whispered about, debated, and rooted for. We're diving into Gökberk Yildirim and Cemre Arda, how that first spark between them became a flame that never seems to dim, how it all began with a script and a set, and why their bond still fascinates fans across the world. Before we jump in, make sure you're subscribed to Turkish series Stars so you never miss a single deep dive like this one. Now, let's unravel the story. This tale pulls us straight into the magic that happens when fiction brushes up against reality. Two talented names in the Turkish industry. Parallel careers. Separate paths that met at the right time, on the right stage. Like many unforgettable pairings, Gökberk and Cemre crossed paths on a project that linked them professionally and set the tone for everything that followed, Medcecir. You remember it? A phenomenon. The kind of series that lodges itself in the heart of a country. And at the center of it, Yaman and Mira, characters whose glances spoke a little too loudly, whose silences seemed full of secrets, and whose chemistry felt undeniably real. From the first weeks of Medcecir, people noticed the electricity. It wasn't just the choreography of a script, it felt lived-in, warm, improvisational. The way Gökberk looked at Cemre when the camera lingered, the soft shift in her voice when she said his character's name, all these tiny moments piled up into one loud question: were Yaman and Mira staying on screen, or were they quietly stepping into real life too? Rumors began to run wild. In forums, on fan pages, in comment sections. Stray photos popped up and disappeared again. They were seen leaving the same rap party, a friend liked a suspiciously telling post, someone swore they heard a confession in a backstage hallway. It was the intrigue that fuels fandoms, a delicate dance between what's shared and what's hidden. Every appearance where they happened to be near each other became a national guessing game. Were they together? Were they only colleagues who happened to be perfect scene partners? And then, after months of suspense, something close to a confirmation slipped into the public eye. Subtle, careful, barely a whisper in official terms, but the reaction was thunderous. Fans reacted as if they'd watched their favorite series deliver its most satisfying twist. What makes their story resonate isn't just that first burst of heat but the endurance that followed. While celebrity flings often rise and fall overnight, Gökberk Yildirim and Cemre Arda built something measured. There's a steadiness to it, like a tree that took root when Medcecir first aired and has since grown quietly beneath the noise, a trunk strengthened by windy seasons, branches spreading in patient arcs. It's never felt like a relationship built on hype. It's felt like a partnership assembled brick by brick, the foundation strengthened over time. As they moved beyond Medcecir, both of their careers kept climbing. Gökberk sought out roles that stretched his range. Complex, layered, sometimes heroic, sometimes flawed. One of those projects led him to a global streamer, where he stepped into the skin of a protector, an assignment that brought him to an international audience and proved he was more than a local heartthrob. Cemre, meanwhile, owned every lens pointed her way. She anchored Turkish dramas with emotional precision, carried arcs that asked a lot of her, and did it with poise. Between sets, she became a favorite for major brands, marrying fashion, presence, and authenticity in a way that cemented her status as a style and talent icon. Through it all, their private life remained guarded yet unmistakably intact. And here's where the spark keeps renewing itself: respect. It's visible whenever they speak about one another's work. There's no performance of competition, no theatrical jealousy, just genuine admiration. This is crucial in any relationship, but it's essential inside a competitive industry. The victories are shared, the stumbles understood. They know how grueling a night shoot can be, what it means to hold a whole series on your shoulders, how bittersweet it is to wrap a character you've lived with for months. That shared vocabulary becomes an anchor. They also balance each other. One brings steel when the other needs it, one brings softness when the day asks for it. In interviews and rare joint appearances, the language between them often lives in what doesn't need to be said, A glance that says we're fine, a smile that says I'm proud of you, a touch on the shoulder that says I'm here. It's an unshowy intimacy that reads more mature than dramatic. You can feel the safe harbor they've created for each other in a world filled with bright lights and long lenses. Of course, the media pressure has never gone away. Paparazzi wait by exits. Headlines swirl out of nothing. A dinner becomes a rumor, becomes a narrative. But the way Gökberk and Cemre have handled that noise is telling. They've drawn a circle around what matters. They've opted for intention over exposure, a bubble of privacy over constant updates. That's not secrecy, it's protection. And it's kept the heart of what they share from being stripped for parts by the public eye. Time does what it always does, it reshapes us. What began during Medcecir as the quickened pulse of something bright and new has settled into a deeper burn, steadier, stronger. They've learned each other in the ordinary days, not just the big premieres. They've built rituals that belong only to them. And in that slow, patient work, the love becomes less about spectacle and more about staying. Their mutual admiration as artists adds another layer. They understand scripts and story arcs, the frustration of a scene that refuses to land, the triumph of finding a character's heartbeat. When one of them celebrates, the other knows exactly what went into that moment, the endless readings, the rehearsal that finally clicked, the doubt that had to be quieted. That empathy is priceless. It's not just affection, it's partnership. And still, the nostalgia lingers. Even now, when fans see them together, the mind goes back. To Medcecir, to the first time Yaman and Mira leaned toward each other at a shoreline and the air seemed charged. That nostalgia is powerful. It turns the present into a sequel you never expected to get. It reminds you that sometimes fiction holds the door open for reality to walk through. And when people talk about Medcecir or spell it Medcecir or call it Medcecir in comment threads, what they're really doing is remembering the first time they believed in a spark that felt too natural to be make-believe. So why does the fire keep growing? Because it's tended to. Because admiration outweighs ego. Because they know how to root for each other when the world is loud, and how to laugh together when the world goes quiet. Because they've turned what began in front of a camera into something that doesn't need the camera at all. When you look back over the timeline, the shape is clear, a catalytic meeting on a set, a rush of attention, a season of silence, a nearly whispered confirmation, and then years of careful, unflashy building. Wins on screen. Fashion campaigns that felt like coronations for Cemre. Challenging scripts that let Gökberk flex power and nuance, including his turn as a protector that opened doors beyond Turkey. Those separate triumphs braided into a shared narrative, each chapter feeding the next. It's easy to romanticize this story, we're all guilty of that, but there's something instructive here too. Love survives not because it's perfect but because it's maintained. Sometimes that maintenance looks like cheering at a premiere. Sometimes it looks like bringing tea to a tired partner at midnight. And when you carry that love under the glare of fame, the maintenance matters twice as much. What's beautiful is that the magnetism we all noticed in the early scenes of Medcecir hasn't vanished, it's transformed. The infatuation that once made a million viewers swoon has become a shared history, a code they both know by heart. The spark that ignited on set didn't go out when the director called cut. It settled into the corners of their real lives and kept on glowing. For longtime fans, that through line is irresistible. You watched them as Yaman and Mira. You watched the rumors build. You watched the quiet confirmations, the chosen silences, the measured steps. And now, years later, you see a couple who feels grounded, who seems to understand that longevity isn't about constant headlines but about constant care. In essence, Gökberk Yildirim and Cemre Arda''s journey is proof that the oldest story in show business can still be told in a new way. The screen introduces two people. The world watches. The curtain falls. And then, if they're lucky and willing, they keep writing. From the chemistry that lit up Medcecir to the strength they've shown in private, they've turned a fleeting spark into something that endures. We've traced how a set became a starting point, how they navigated the glare without surrendering the core of their bond, and how mutual respect, unshakable support, and personal growth have kept their connection not just intact but thriving. If anything, the fire burns brighter now, shaped by time and choice, fed by each new challenge they take on together. Tell us what you think. Did you start following them during Medcecir? Which moments sealed your belief in their chemistry? Drop your thoughts below. Your insight makes Turkish series stars a community, not just a channel. And if you enjoyed this look into their evolving love story, give this video a like, share it with fellow fans, and make sure you're subscribed so you never miss what's next. Until then, we'll be here, keeping an eye on the stories that started in fiction and found a home in reality.